Hey guys, hope everyone's doing fantastic. Beautiful time of year here on the East Coast. It's fall. Well, I don't know if it's technically fall, but we have colored leaves falling from the trees, so... And I can wear long sleeves, so as far as I'm concerned, it's fall. I think we have a little while to go before it's officially fall. I've been doing a lot of slab work lately. Trying to get a lot of preforms made. Turn them into points a little bit later, points and blades. I've got kind of a cool project on the horizon, so I'm hoping to sell some of these. So if anybody out there wants to share these videos with anybody that they know that they think might be interested, that would certainly help my cause. There's my flaker, here it is. You know, they can PM me on Facebook for prices. I mean, it just kind of depends. Every piece is unique, but I keep them cheap. Let's see here. There we go. This flaker has been sliding up and down a little bit, losing its friction fit, so I'm going to go ahead and take a toothpick, shim it in there as best I can. That broke off a little bit sooner than I would have liked, but that's alright, it'll work. There we go. Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to do the job. So anyway, so if anybody out there would like to share these videos with people that they know that might be interested in either a point, or if you know jewelry makers that might want more than one, like I said, the pricing kind of just depends. You know, on the size of the point, whether it's hafted into an arrow or a knife blade or by itself. Colors, I mean, everybody out there who naps, you know, every piece kind of has its own character, its own value, based on a lot of different things. But I try to keep them cheaper than a lot of people out there. So I'm just driving flakes down off this edge. Just skinning it. You know, not trying to dig too deep. That seems to be working for me. Shallow flakes, multiple passes. Then as I get to the base, I find I need to use a little bit more force, or flake with more of a purpose.
Yeah, that last one, that was almost an overshot flake.
Ideally, from what I understand, the best thing to do would be to only flake this to center line. That way I can keep a really, really good convexity. So I've mentioned in the past how I space my flakes, and
Here's a good example of why. You can see the flake on the lower portion of the base, you know, cleared a good distance, and the one above it did not, and then the one above that one did. So what that did was that left me a delta to clear off that
flake that did not pass. And I'm not even going to get it on this shot because I may blast it off from the other side, but at least it gives me a delta you know, a platform to use if I need it. I try and bust through all these slabs, or at least most of them, so that I can have some time to do some percussion before it gets too cold. At least these slabs I can kind of finish off in my basement if I'm just notching them. Alright, so I have 2 areas of opportunity right there that need to be fixed. But I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to be patient. I'll take that second pass on the other side, because who knows, it might blast that off. I might travel all the way across there, and what that will do is, instead of having to take that delta, which leaves me with a little bit of an uneven, not uneven, but just taking off that delta will make it so that the series of deltas are not consistent. It'll just make my flake pattern look a little bit different, which you know, I'm not too concerned about. There's some beautiful pieces out there where the flake patterns, they just match up right together, and I'll get there too. But right now, where'd my flaker go? Right now I'm just trying to get a nice good point. So a little more gentle at the tip, so I don't bust it off. I've noticed if I bust the tip off, that really, maybe not in this early stage, but a little later down the line, makes it difficult to keep a good center line. I always end up with a turtle. Or when I end up with the turtle, I end up having to significantly reduce the width of the point to fix it. And that's just me. I'm sure there's a lot of ways I can prevent that. I'm going to back up right there. Okay. So this side's not having the same success with the deltas as the other side, but that's alright. There we go. Now we're getting it. Tip is always the hardest part. I need a new pad too, but this pad is just beat up. I should probably make one. I've made pads before. In fact, some of you out there might have a pad that I made. They're not great, they're not perfect, but they do the job. Alright, scooping ice cream. This was a good pass. I'm happy with this. Shouldn't jinx myself, but check it out. So that's why I didn't go back and correct those short flakes, because I was able to get them from the other side. Everything's nice and clean there. Ooh, is that some rainbow I saw? That's another cool thing about these slabs too, is I never know really what I'm getting into. I'm gonna hit the base a little bit, I think. I never really know what I'm getting into, because I order these. Sometimes I order really high quality stuff. Sometimes I order run-of-the-mill rainbow, that it's rainbow but not a lot of color in it. You know, sometimes I order the stuff that, you know, I tell Will that I'll pay for the good stuff. Then it comes to me in a box. I wrap it all in newspaper, throw it in a drawer, and have no idea what I'm getting into the next time I use it. So it's always a surprise as to what I get. I had a really, really nice piece of rainbow the other day. I'm trying not to drive these flakes too far forward, because what I've learned is as I'm getting better, I want to try and keep the east and west flake pattern, so I'm trying to take off less, not so much of a flute, but just reducing that base. But I had it, so I had a nice, really good piece of rainbow, and unfortunately, It busted the tip off of it, and in the effort of trying to recover, it was already in like almost its final stages, so I think I busted it down to about here, and I just failed at fixing it. I got a point out of it, but could not remove the turtle, you know, because when you break that tip off, you lose a lot of convexity, and then there's a little bit of an art of getting it back, which sometimes I do a great job at, sometimes I don't, and unfortunately that time I did not, and it was a beautiful piece of rainbow. It had so much color in it. Extremely disappointing. But, you know, that's why when people sell these points, they're not always cheap. People think it's expensive, but they don't understand how many times you failed, how long it took you to get good at what you do, how much material you used, what the quality of the material is that you're getting in your point. And it's not flint knapping. I'm not trying to throw a temper tantrum. It's every art. Whether you paint, or you draw, or you're a carpenter, whatever it is, it's the same thing. People think because you made it, it's less valuable because, you know, instead of having a scholastic education and having to pay for your college and all that, that your service is less valuable because less money went into it, which is never true. Never ever. Even these points sold at a reasonable rate, if you broke it down to an hourly wage with the material included, it'd be embarrassing. But it's fun, it's what we do. And that has a lot of value to it too, so. The better we get, the faster we get. Sometimes that's worth more to us than, you know, the monetary value of what we should get. Alright, let's try this second side. So we got the first side, now we're going to hit the second side. Still on the first pass. Pressure flaker's still okay. We might want to touch that up a little bit as we go. The tip is always the scariest part. You want to support it, but you don't want to put any pressure on it. And if you put too much pressure underneath, you'll send obsidian right into your fingertip. Done that a bunch of times. So I just take little nibbles. Little nibbles is all you need. I mean, it's only that wide, so it doesn't need a lot of pressure. As I get further down, plus you're going to get it from the other side. See, those are already overshot flakes. Didn't even really need to be that far. For me, anyway. Alright, there we go. That flake was a little bit spaced far, so that might need some correction, but I'm not going to do it now. I've learned to take the other pass first because sometimes it self-corrects. Another one, same way. Sorry about the noise. Even though I'm in the woods, I do live off a major highway. Alright, so that one was a little bit shallow. That's concerning. I'm going to have to do some good work on the other side when I take that pass on the other side. I would have liked to see that travel a little further. I think that's only because I don't have 100% confidence that I can drive that flake far on the other side. But the seat time has been paying off. I have been producing better points than I have been in the past, and that's not to brag. That's just, you know, a product of putting in the time.
So there's the first pass on that one side. You can see the spots that need in the middle here that need a little bit extra.
Go, and we'll give it to it. No, I ground, but I'm going to grind again, because you can't overgrind, really. I mean, you can, technically. People will probably argue with that, but with Obsidian, I'm not worried about it. I like to leave a little bit of powder on there, too. I don't even blow it off. And is pretty much the same reason that I don't always make sure I have a super, super sharp pressure flaker, because I like to get that grip. At least on these first couple passes. So I can already tell him I have to fix that point. I have a bad habit of ending up with like bird beak points that I have to fix at the end. And I can fix them. I can fix them just fine. But if anybody out there knows what I'm doing wrong to produce those, please let me know. I think it's too much of a aggressive pass on the first pass. I think that's what causes those, but I don't know. Okay, these passes are a little aggressive. I should probably ease up a little. Sometimes I find when I talk and nap at the same time, I nap a little differently. Ooh, that's not good. But I'm still going to leave it. I'm going to be disciplined and leave it.
See that right up there at the tip? Well, partway down.
I so want to go back and correct that, but I'm going to be disciplined and I'm going to move on to my next flake. Ooh, that one was a overshot. Almost stabbed me in the finger.
Produced another possibility for an island right there.
But I feel pretty comfortable that I can get that from the other side. If I get a decent flake. And I've found that's the good thing about taking those shallow flakes is that, oh man, keep that going, is that you can, you have more time to take those off. Boy, I don't know about this one. Every time I put it on camera, this is what happens. I'll show you in a second. Oop. So this side is ugly.
Check that out. Look at all those islands. Hope the camera's picking that up. I hope that when I come back on these
other passes I can get those. And in fact, I'm going to do a second pass on this side first before I go over to the other side. I'll post this either way. It seems like every time I try and record myself making a slab point that something goes awry. There's a lot going awry right now, isn't there? This is a great way to escape, though. So let's start with the tip. We always do. I do because I'd rather break the tip off first than break it off at the end. I mean, I've been told that it's better to start with the tip, you know, because of the way the shock moves through the preform, but I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know that I prefer to break the tip off in the beginning than halfway down the preform. So where are we going? Alright, now we're to this delta right here. Hopefully we'll blast off that island. Let's see. And it sort of did. No, it did not. Yep, we might end up... Hey everybody, okay, so I'm back. My camera died. It didn't actually die. It was an issue of storage on the SD card I was using. Of course, always at the worst times. Where's my preform? Here it is. But not exactly sure where it left off, but I deleted a bunch of stuff so I could make room for it. But you can see I was able to, and honestly I can't remember which side it was on, but I was able to get rid of those nasty islands, and I'm pretty happy about that. I'm really disappointed that the camera didn't catch it, not because I wanted to show it, not an ego thing or anything like that, but just really interesting because last year, you know, when I got those islands, I was pretty much stuck with them. I was not successful at taking those off, so it's just a good indicator that the seat time is paying off. For me, which in any art is always good to experience. You know, we spend so much time trying to get good at what we do, or better rather. That's a better term to use. That anytime we see a little bit of progress, it's nice to just experience that for a little while. So I'm going to come back and just touch up these edges, try and make everything the same. Pardon me. Again, as I had mentioned before, anytime I seem to turn the camera on, all my flaws come to the surface, which is great. As you can see them. And actually, that brings me to another point too. The camera's great too, because even when you think you had a good run, when you look back at it on camera, you see all the places where you probably could have done something differently, or maybe didn't work out quite as well as you thought. Kind of like when you take a picture of that point, you get done with that point, you're like, I'm going to take a picture of it and post it on Facebook. Then you take a picture of it and you see it and you're like, oh my goodness. It does not look quite the same in this picture as it did when I was looking at it. Alright, so I don't want to get too much thinner here on this tip without getting the other side. Alright, 3's the magic number. If I can't get it in 3, I stop and try again. That's my little rule. I can already see where I need to go back to the base here. Thin that down so I don't get in shock. If your base is thicker than the rest of your point, you are very likely to get end shot. Same thing with the tip. If the base or the tip, especially if both of them are thicker than the middle, you're pretty much destined for end shock. Unless you do a really good job correcting that gently. So it's a balancing act. A lot of people out there, they can just do pass by pass by pass by pass and then fit it out. You know, I'm not at that skill level yet. I have to backtrack a little bit and make corrections and fix spots that are thicker than they should be. But that's okay. If I get a point at the end, I'm pretty happy. Flake patterns might not be fantastic, but they're getting better and better every day, so I'm happy with that. The big thing that has helped me improve is the point at which I zigzag.
Last year I would zigzag right here. And I get a pretty decent beveled point. But the fact of the matter is that there are several passes left that I can take. And that's what's going to give me the much thinner point that I want.
You know, assuming it survives the process. And I can drop down to my thinner nail, thinner flaker. And I keep looking up to see if the camera's shut off or not. I had no idea. I looked up and all of a sudden the camera was off. Excuse me. I thought maybe it was a battery issue, but then when I took it inside, I knew it was fully charged. Apparently the SD card was full, which is also surprising because there really wasn't a lot on there. There was only like 2 or 3 videos on there, and they weren't even that long. So I don't know if it's going to be time for a new camera or what, but I think I can sharpen my tool. When you see me doing this, I'm looking for the rough edge. Because there's a rough edge and there's a smoother edge. And I want that rough edge because I want to take nice, slow strokes so that I don't heat that copper up so it doesn't lose its, excuse me, its strength. And what I really should be doing, as many of you are probably saying in the back of your head right now, is I should be pounding this with a hammer. I just don't have that time or the patience, so this is what I'm going to do. Now is when I try not to drop this. I've dropped so many preforms at this point. It's so disappointing. Especially now. We're getting thin. Should have probably started at the tip. It wasn't the smartest thing to do. Starting in the middle like that, but if you're careful. Which I'm trying to be. Now let's go down to the base, towards the base. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. This is coming out decent. Especially since we had those islands. Disappointing that when I corrected those islands, it happens to be when the camera went out, but you know, that's just the way most of life works. And really, I didn't do anything amazing. All I did was just take more passes, hit my deltas where I needed to. I think I was more impressed than anybody else would be, because usually when I get those islands, I'm kind of stuck with them. So I was super excited when I was able to get rid of those. Again, it's seat time. I've been doing these slabs consistently for, well, I mean this year, for probably the last 2 weeks, maybe. And it's like anything else, you just got to put in the time. There's no way to cheat. So this side's pretty decent. I'm going to move on to this side. I might actually hit the base first. Yeah, I think I might. Just to reduce the opportunity of end shock. Not trying to get long flutes here, just trying to get rid of this base. Because this is going to become part of the zigzag, obviously. Yeah, probably could have pushed those a little flatter than I did. Alright, not bad. This is where we're at. We're almost ready for a zigzag. I think I can push one more pass, especially on this side. Then we'll zigzag and we'll finish it up. We'll see how long this really takes me to do. Probably not the most exciting video, I know. If you've made it this far without skipping ahead, I commend you. Alright, so we're going to take our final passes before we start to zigzag. I'm going to start on this side because this is the side that needs it. That's a stubborn side, stubborn piece. Let's hit it from over here first, see what happens. There we go. Oh, damn it. I got lucky. Stupid rookie move, but I got lucky. Man, that's what I don't want to do. Don't do that again. Whew. I've broken probably 3 or 4 of those. Oh, lost the tip on that. Bad mojo. That's alright. It's just the tip. I've lost quite a few of those by just dropping them like that. Problem I have when I lose the tip like that is I don't do a good job thinning down that thick spot that's created by losing the tip. I lose my center line and don't get a good, you know, a good center line. I end up with a turtle. So let's just see if this is an opportunity for me to work on that. Man, I can't believe I dropped that. I can't believe I blasted that tip off. Bad luck all the way around. So what I have figured out, or I think I've figured out, is that it's good to work that tip first, because that kind of sets the precedence for the rest of the point. If you flatten that point out and that tip is still stubby, it just never works out. Alright, I think I did. Back to that thick edge. Thin it out some more. I'm not going to panic. This has been kind of a problem point from the start, so this is good training, good education. I need more grinding, I can tell. Keep looking up at the camera to make sure I'm still recording. Making sure it hasn't shut off on me. We're pretty close to being ready to zigzag. Just want to get that as thin as possible, because once you start to zigzag, there's no turning back. You're left with what you have. I mean, I suppose you could grind it down and start over again, but you're going to lose a ton of width, and it's going to be a pain. And in my opinion, at that point, you're better off just scrapping the point and starting over. Trying to look at the center line and seeing how I can take some flakes off that make it as flat and straight as possible. Alright, that seems to have helped. Maybe a couple more. There we go. You can tell the difference when you hear it. What's taking a flake and what's not. Yeah, this is crazy. You can almost get to a complete point, or edge rather, before you even need to zigzag. This is crazy. So much different than last year. lot of consistent seat time. I think that makes a huge, huge difference too. Not just once in a while, but I've been trying to get seat time every day. And some of these are so thin, I'm already starting to zigzag it a little bit. Those saw marks are coming off, leaving a sharp edge. So I think I'm going to stop here and proceed to the zigzag. Let's check a little bit up here. Yeah, I think I'm ready for that. At least on that side. I feel like I need to sharpen this tool already. I feel it slipping. So, I think that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so let's see what we have right now. Here you can see the edges. The edge pretty thin. It's ready for some pressure flaking, ready for some zigzags. So is that, I think, really in my opinion. So I'm going to sharpen the tool again. That's pretty good. I'm actually going to sharpen my smaller pressure flaker as well, which needs some adjustment. As you can see, it's pretty short. It needs a couple of BBs in there and a shim. But if I need it, it won't be much. So we're good for today. To start from this side. And for me personally, when I do the zigzags, I don't try and do any like inward pressure like the scoop in the ice cream that I always talk about. I just kind of go side to side, because hopefully at that point it's thin enough to where, well, except for right here. Hold on a second. It's thin enough to where really that side to side is going to take off what little bit I have left of those saw marks. Especially this year, because I seem to have gotten to a point where I can get these a lot thinner. And again, I'm not trying to brag, I'm just saying seat time. I mean, I've been flint knapping way longer than a lot of people who are way better than me. So that is by no means tooting my own horn. It's just excitement about reaching a new level. What I really want to do after this is get that indirect percussion down. Man, can you get thin points from indirect percussion? You can get it thin with direct too. It's just a different animal. A little bit much, a little aggressive on that one, and I paid for it. It's alright, I'll come back and fix it. Gonna be a notch there anyway. Here's when I try not to drop it. Ooh, that one was aggressive. Dang. Shoot. Boy, this has been a problem point all the way around, has it not? Too aggressive on that one. That's what happened right there. But I need to fix it, so what am I going to do? That's too bad. That was a nice point. It's all right. Just going to adjust for it. That's all I can do. Should have showed you that before I made the adjustments. Alright, we're getting there. Long video. I doubt you watched the whole thing, but that's alright. Kind of cool one for me. Made a bunch of mistakes, made a bunch of corrections. Okay, I think we might have salvaged it. Looky, looky, huh? Keep looking up to see if I'm still recording. That's pretty sharp. Actually, it's super sharp, but I'm going to grind it down, so it's not going to be sharp anymore. And we're going to call that good for a preform. Let's just do a little bit more off over here. Just some fine trimming. None of it really matters because I'll probably redo it again when I sharpen this, but just for the sake of having it done. And this can use a little bit more touch-up, but I've spent more than enough time on this video. So I figured I'd just call it quits. Almost forgot to zigzag the base. Just itty bitty flakes. special care not to drop it at this point.
Alright, this is what we ended up with. Still needs a little more shaping on this side. In fact, we'll do that right now. Why put it off if you could do it right now? There we go, much better. So, this is what we're left with. It's a pretty decent point, relatively thin. Still have that, like, you know, raptor beak on the tip, but I guess I'll just trim that down and fix it when I turn it into a point.
Subscribe to Bucket Cheetah Gaming!
Okay, that's enough.
Leave a like!
Alright guys, there you go. See you next time.